technical difficulties, possibly. But hopefully, like I say, we hopefully that's fixed. Um, so yeah, basically I'm gonna be discussing the bad, getting back to the bad. So here, as I mentioned, Geminis can seem emotionally detached. So here, like I say, Pisces oftentimes may want, the emotional reassurance where a Pisces can open up, but it could be a situation as the Pisces open up to Gemini changes the subject. And, it could be a situation that suddenly happens where the Pisces may feel unseen because with Gemini, they might not even take things that deep or feel things as deep as Pisces. So definitely it could be a situation where Pisces is not really um keeping things at a level surface of far as the communication. But when you dealing with Gemini, you don't want to take things so deep as you feel things so deep, if that makes sense. True Gemini, why you say dang? Why you say dang? I mean, like when you first when you first meet each other, it's like you feel like you found a friend. You feel like you may both of y'all may have a lot to talk about, especially when you first meet each other. Um, but like I say, the reason why I say just be careful because when you guys run out, well, usually it's the Pisces that runs out of things to say first, and then all of a sudden Pisces goes into the water, meaning they may take things into a more Philly, where, hey, their emotion might be involved at that point because they've ran out of things, to talk about. And it could be a situation that started off light, but then it ended up being emotional because a Pisces can be like, okay, now that I'm feeling you, and usually that's because when a Pisces feeling a person, they start, showing their emotions somewhat because it's really they're just trying to see how you handle emotions. It's like, okay, can you go a little bit deeper into the depths of the conversation? But then that's when you will find out that it's not that Gemini can't, it's just that Gemini doesn't want to get into, a whole situation where they will have to be vulnerable and have to feel like you feel. Because both of y'all like mirrors, okay? So both of y'all reflect, and it's like a Gemini just want to have fun, just want to chill. They don't want to have a whole lot on their mental. And then with Pisces, is more like, okay, I want to chill, but I want to feel too. So it's like the reason for Pisces wanting to feel things so much is because they don't want to deal with anything that's not real. So it's like, what's going on? Welcome, True Gemini. So when it comes to communication, it's huge for us. We not so much some of the. Yep, definitely. It's you up. It is definitely a boundary. Is definitely protection for a Gemini to not go into the emotions so deep as Pisces would. Now, I will say with Pisces, Pisces can be more vulnerable than a Gemini. Okay. Now the reason is because Pisces would rather take the chance, take the risk up front because they don't want to waste their time. So it's almost like, well, hey, you seem like somebody that I like to get to know. And then a Pisces is like, okay, maybe let me see how you handle my emotion. Let me see how you handle your emotion around me to see if you feel the same. So usually you got to be careful because this can lead to misunderstandings because once you start to change the turbulence of, the speed of the conversation, if you start, taking the conversation to different subjects, both of y'all can end up throwing each other off because the Gemini doesn't really know what you really want behind what you're speaking about, if that makes sense. And where Pisces is like, okay, I need to see how you respond to me changing the subject and going into a more emotional, conversation, especially with that type of substance of, it's to the point where Pisces is like, I'm gonna see how you respond. But just know you cannot assume that, hey, the Gemini is going to be available to you through that emotional conversation, Pisces, because you might feel like, oh, this is somebody I could talk to about XYZ. But then, like I say, you got to give Gemini headspace. You got to give them freedom, even though you want to, you don't want to get closer to them because how you keep your Gemini is that you just gotta keep it light. That's all. Just keep it light. Don't get too overly, trying to connect too fast emotionally. That's where it starts to. That's where the trust issues start to develop because Gemini might feel like you trying to control them. They might feel like you, Pisces, is trying to manipulate them because usually Pisces, when you switch up the conversation, you go from keeping things light, then all of a sudden you switch it up, and then it's like the Gemini can see that, and then they start feeling like, well, damn, you must really like me, or you must really, or you up to something, because it's like, why is you trying to like get me into an emotional, or trying to make me feel something that I just want to chill, or I just want to keep it light. So it's like where one person wants to wear, wear tennis shoes, the other person just want to wear Crocs. They don't really want too much, they don't really want to have something where it's bogging them down, feeling like it's so tight where they feel boxed in. Neither does Pisces. So Pisces might play with this because Pisces is thinking to themselves, hey, I don't want to get into a situation that's superficial. I don't want to just be talking about, random small talks, but we're not really getting anywhere. Where is this going? So sometimes a Pisces is quick to end things when it doesn't go that way or in that direction, or if it feels like it's always just that lighthearted, you know, just fun type of conversation, but it's like we really can't connect us just the one to one, because sometimes a Gemini can be the type of person where they're not alone. So they could bring friends. You every time you try to get that one to one, that's you, Pisces, trying to get that connection, and you're just trying to, vibe. What Gemini might throw a curveball in there, bring a friend or two, and then throw you off, Pisces, because you're like, come on, bro. Thought it was just gonna be us. But then the Gemini thinking y'all just friends, they thinking like, oh shit, we just chilling. I just brought my homegirl, or she could either bring a guy friend around if she feel like, oh, this is just a lighthearted friendship situation or associate. But Pisces, you could feel like the Gemini on some shit, because you might feel like they up to something by bringing these folks around. And that's the thing you gotta be careful with, because the trust issues. So it can work. It's just y'all just have to understand each other. Y'all just gotta understand each other because, bro, it's like both of y'all can hold each other up. You meaning, let's say she's doing something, Pisces, you could be, just as talkative as she can or he can. It's the point where a lot of times you could be so used to each other where you both end up, getting excited, but then it's like sometimes it's just you will run out of shit to say. That's the problem, bro. Because Pisces, you start to feel like you get exhausted, you get drained, you start to feel like, wait a minute, even though you enjoy speaking to the Gemini, but you're just like, now I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't know what to talk about. And now that's when you throw the Gemini off, because Gemini thinks you're not interested. once you stop talking, it's like, okay, why did he go quiet? Or why did she go quiet? And then when a Gemini is quick to move on, just as you are, Pisces. That's why it really can come down to where, hey, the Pisces be like, oh, I ain't really feel like we was really, close. And then the Gemini is telling her story or his story that, hey, he just stopped, responding. So shit, she might think, oh, you didn't want to talk to me, or, anyway, so that could be the situation. Now, let me see. True Gemini said a Pisces more settled when a Gemini is like a child, uh, wanting to bust out the door once it's over. Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. Usually the Pisces goes for the Gemini because the Gemini is like, how can I say it? He or she could be attentive. Like, so if a Pisces say something, the Gemini responds like boom. And Pisces loves that because Pisces is like, okay, it don't matter if I was your friend. It doesn't matter if, you knew me or not. You responded to something I said, or you talked to, spoke with me for, a few moments, even though we both were busy. It could be those type of moments. But then remember, with Pisces, it's not so much about emotions. It has a lot to do with intimacy. So Pisces can feel, see, it comes off emotionally because it's filtered through the emotions. But what Pisces be on is when they see Gemini, they like, oh shit, like just how freely and easygoing the Gemini is. A Pisces starts to see this as, you know what, if she's doing all this freely, hey, I'm trying to take her, I'm trying to take her down, trying to smash, because a Pisces is just like a shark, bro, when it comes to some ass, bro, because a Pisces can be like, if you the type of person that's like, easygoing, friendly, just bubbly, and it's just like a Pisces is like, okay, is this real? Like, is she really like, is he or she, is she, um, is he or she really this way? And then a Pisces is like, okay, I want to get a one-to-one, but then you could screw this up, Pisces, because you move too fast on it. And it could come off as, desperation. It could come off as you're up to something. Because one thing about Gemini, yes, she's lighthearted and friendly, but she's not stupid, if that makes sense. She's not stupid, bro. Like, she knows what you're trying to do when you're doing so, but she doesn't give you, she's not like, oh, I know what you're trying to do. She still talks to you the same. She's still, still bubbly, still friendly, but then it's like the way she moves, she kind of give you the impression like, yeah, I'm not trying to do all that. But she might not even tell you she ain't trying to do all that because she probably want to do it too. But then it's just a mere fact that she has to get to know you. But it's like you could just read into some stuff and it's like that could just be how she is, but it doesn't mean that she trying to get into bed with you, if that makes sense. Because sometimes it's like with Pisces, you look at someone and you're like, yeah, this is what I want. And then you like, okay, I ain't gonna lie. As a Pisces, you will want to do something quick, but still take caution. You still see Pisces is still cautious. They ain't like dumb. They just look at a situation and they like, okay, because the Gemini will really, I'm gonna tell you how Geminis can be. They can be the kind of person, and I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, but it's like if you look at that cartoon like Pokemon, it's like you could see them and they could just be doing some regular type of behaviors or activities out there in the park somewhere, talking or just passing by. And you, Pisces, you pretty much like Ash Ketchum. You like, oh shit, there go a thick ass Gemini, bro. You might be like, shit, try to catch that Gemini ASAP. Because this is the thing, me having to go into this just happened to me today. I literally saw the Gemini, but I've been seeing her for quite some time, like a couple of days. We keep running into each other. There's something just dawned on me, like, man, you just get her number. Why don't you, give her your number, y'all exchange numbers. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna wait next time. 'Cause I'm not finna literally, I'm not gonna go. I see her at Wingstop. I'm like, bro, I'm not even finna be like, cause she just saw me at McDonald's. I ain't want to be like, unless I had an order over there, I wasn't finna go follow, just be on some creep type shit, like just popping up and like, nah, I'll just wait till I run into her again. Then I'll go for the number exchange because I noticed that we keep holding a conversation every time we're in the same small space of a damn, little restaurant lobby or something, waiting on our orders. So that's when I went on and was like, you know, she turned around and did the same thing. So, three strikes, you do it three times in a row. I'm like, okay, this must be, how she is. Man, I went in there and just did the thing like boom. And then when I said, what's your number? She just, oh, it's this. I was like, what's your name? She's like, Melina. I'm like, okay, bet. Just change numbers. Woo, woo. Didn't tell her why. I didn't go off into no crazy stuff because I already knew she was a Gemini. She already told me she was a Gemini. So the one good thing about Gemini, you don't have to go off into like the extras of like, oh, this and this, and explaining yourself and like going off into why, what, when. And it's like with Gemini's, like they already know why you asked for the number or why you wanted to exchange. You don't have to make it awkward. They rather you not do so anyway, of trying to, oh yeah, because I wanted to know if you want to exchange number because yeah, you just do I maybe want to hang out. They don't want you doing all that rambling because they know you lying. Like they know you just trying to. They know that you probably feel awkward and just trying to say some shit to fill in the awkwardness. With conversation. Okay, so what's going on? Let me see. Brian, what's going on, bro? And so yeah, that's one thing to watch out now. You got to give the Gemini space. Now I'm gonna talk about the ugly. Is the fact that Gemini is not really too quick to go into, speaking about their problems. They may, tell you briefly, or they may hint around, or they might simply talk. They might simply talk around their problems. So this could be a situation where Pisces could be the type of person that wants Gemini to just spit it out. Meaning, hey, hey, I'm a Pisces, but the Gemini is not gonna be thinking in those terms of, oh, your sign and whatnot. But you may find out that Gemini keeps changing the subject because she doesn't want to go off into the emotional feelings about these particular problems in general. So it could be a situation where she can give you bits and pieces to where, oh, I'm working late tonight because I want to buy my granddaughter a good birthday gift. But she doesn't go off into why that is, meaning the whole deeper in the depths of, of it all. It's like she ain't gonna go into the depths of explaining, oh yeah, because right now I'm low on money or whatever the situation. It could be something personal. So that type of stuff where Pisces wants that raw, uncut, like the 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 problems. Pisces wants to empathize. So soon as Pisces can see that something is like a pattern in other words. So it's like a Pisces might say, well, damn, I be seeing you every night. You doing the same type of, working late, just like me. What is your reason? But Gemini might not want to go that deep with you, Pisces. Even if y'all was together, they don't want to go off into their problems of any type of thing that um, makes them look vulnerable, if that makes sense. Because what she can do as she's dancing around problems that she's facing is that once she starts changing the subject, it already shows she's not comfortable sharing the problems. And the thing about it is, you could feel like you could get frustrated, Pisces, because you're like, why won't you just tell me what's going on? I can feel it. So with Pisces, you might start to get upset, and then remember, Pisces, you are the type of person that ends cycles because of behaviors and patterns. When you see the Gemini keep doing that same thing of changing the subject, dodging the questions, you will hold the Gemini accountable and say, why are you doing this? What is the issue? I know there's a problem around this. Tell me what it is. And then a Gemini simply won't tell you. Then Pisces, you will get frustrated. And then all of a sudden, you don't now see, because when a Pisces get frustrated, they set the boundary. But what type of boundary does a Pisces set? They set the boundary of silence. And then Pisces ends up creating a distance. And then Gemini feels the distance. And then they're like, oh, you must not have been that interested in me. As a result, because the Gemini is not going to be, his or her feelings not going to be hurt by you distancing yourself, Pisces. But the thing about it is, they're going to write you off as being emotionally inclined, that, hey, oh, you didn't like that, I didn't tell you why. Or, oh, I got to give my son some money. And then, yeah, it's like they might say something just brief to where it's just like a phone. If you had a little reminder of a notification that, hey, give, granddaughter a gift, but it ain't going off. It's not going all deep with the whole why and, it's not giving you any details of any type of thing to go off of. But Pisces needs this because Pisces has to feel a real connection with someone, if that makes sense. Pisces is all about merging. So a Pisces will do that with you, but then they want it reciprocated. So it's like, if I'm telling you what I'm going through and why, I expect, see, I expect you to do the same. And when you can't meet me halfway, then we might as well not even be talking, because a Pisces will say, you you ain't telling me what's going on, and I don't want to be in the dark about shit because my intuition won't let me. It's almost like you got to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, Gemini, too, because if you don't tell me stuff, the worst thing for Pisces is the intuition versus the Pisces, to where now Pisces knows what you have to, what you're running from, and they know your problems now. But now Pisces is taking this as a precaution. See, because now they think, oh, is she talking to someone? Oh, is there something going on? Hey, you trying to set me up? If you don't give the Pisces, like, if you don't give them anything, I like to call it the meat of a situation. If you don't give them the meat, a Pisces is going to distance themselves. And that becomes the boundary, because Pisces gonna feel like, well, damn, you ain't even want to even keep it real with me all the way, 100%. And you only giving me like 50% of the truth. And now you holding back on the other 50. Now I didn't gave you 100 up front. Now I feel like I've been played, or I feel like I'm gonna get played because I didn't gave you everything up front about me. Now you don't gave me 50%. Now I feel like you playing in my face, and now I feel like you're gonna betray me at some point because of the lack of information. So that's why when that Pisces goes silent, now why is this? Because the Pisces was setting limits to setting the boundaries. Meaning after several times, Pisces will literally keep, record of this with Gemini, that, hey, after repeated disappointments, eventually the Pisces stops explaining themselves. See, because then it becomes, I'm good. Now, what happens here is a trade-off, a merging of energy, because Pisces realize I'm only gonna get 50% half the time with Gemini. Meaning if I'm only gonna get a part, partial of a situation, I'm only getting half. Pisces feels like, wait a minute, this isn't fair. You getting more out of me than I'm getting out of you, but according to how the Gemini feels, you offered. I never said you had to tell me everything, and I'm not gonna tell you everything you want to know. So now the problem is when Pisces says, "Okay, I'm good, bro," then it ends. So it's like this type of partnership, friendship, relationship is more of a, hey, it's all about misunderstandings. Is This is how it ends. See, but when it starts, it's more about interest. It's like, wait a minute, boom, I like talking to this person, hanging out with this person. But it's like for a Pisces to get to that point of hanging out, usually, like I say, it could have just been a good conversation. Yeah, see, it's like Gemini said, okay, no, yeah, I mean, he said, contaminated, spoil meat. Yeah, it's just the meat. It's just like Pisces be wanting the real wants a piece of you that's like tender. It's like I want you to be somewhere vulnerable. So I know that, hey, you really mean everything you're doing, because one thing to a Pisces, the intuition is always going to tell the Pisces that something is not, something feels off. It's like, wait a minute, this person is, being a decoy, or just pretending that, hey, I'm interested in you, or hey, whatever the case may be. Now, let's say Pisces will say things to Gemini in regards to the frustration part, where they'll say, well, hey, I'm not upset. I'm good. But then this is a reflection. This is a mirroring of energy, where I said, where Pisces feels like they were given half, meaning half the truth up front. Well, then the Pisces starts basically mirroring, giving Gemini the same energy back. Now, the difference is, just as the Gemini switched up, changed the subject, Pisces ends up switching up, where they take away the emotion. Now, here it confuses Gemini, because Gemini is like, wait a minute, why are you acting different? Why are you? Because what Gemini doesn't like is the same. They don't like fake people. They don't like somebody that's not real. It's like, if you gonna be one way, you that way. But if you switch up and they notice it, they're done, bro. They're done. Now, here's the thing. When you Why I say this, because a Pisces will say I'm good when they're not. So now there's a 50-50 exchange here. So now you don't really know how the Pisces feel. And because the Gemini took you at face value and trusted you the way you were before you changed, now the Gemini feels like you're playing in their face, because now in a Gemini mindset, they're going to think that everything was fine, bro. Because Pisces doesn't give closure. Pisces doesn't give you a reason why I'm behaving like this now. Pisces just gets fed up to where, hey, after the first three tries, I'm done trying. And now I don't really give a damn emotionally. So now Gemini feels it. So here, remember, what do we call this? We call this emotionally detaching from a situation. Or it could be anything relationship related. So Pisces doesn't give closure. Pisces is like the person that walks off the job in regards to their emotions. They say, okay, I ain't got time for this anymore. I'm done trying. So now when Pisces feels this way, they literally change this way. Now you feel it because, oh, they're not the same old version of what I got at first. See, now Gemini might feel like, oh, you acting just like me. See, and that might feel some type of way because now, oh, you pull one of my moves. And Pisces is very good at doing this, where by them knowing your pattern and the way you are, the way you behave, a Pisces will learn your behavior. And then they will start to become more of that to you because they're not getting reciprocated the same energy back. See, with Pisces is like, if they give you $1, they expect you to reciprocate that dollar. See, that's what keep the connection. That's what keep everything going and flowing. But then when a Pisces literally give you $1 and you only give them back 50 cents, then the Pisces is like, oh, you wasn't willing to give that for $1 like I gave it. You held back. See, when you hold back with a Pisces and they realize, oh, you ain't all in. It's like you only giving me one foot and not the other. So now Pisces is like, what you holding back for? Like, I thought we was cool. So then a Pisces like, nah, bro, because if a Pisces get half of it, half of you, Pisces rather not even have none of you because I ain't get the whole 100. Like, I gave it up. I just simply connected. I was willing to just connect. I didn't hold back. I didn't hesitate. So when a Pisces feel like you did, Pisces like, well, we ain't even got to talk because this was something I was trying to do by choice. So now you leave me you leave me nothing else to do but just distance myself from you because you're not, like I said, you're not real. You're not serious about connecting. See, yeah, a Pisces can be flaky, but see, Pisces is flaky to flake off, if that makes sense. A Pisces is flaky to lose things that they don't feel they need. It's like dead weight. So if a Pisces is flaky, that means they're trying to flake off. They're trying to flake some shit off of them to where I ain't really giving you no certainty of that something is this or that. I'm being flaky. I'm not really giving you anything. So that's because I don't want anything from you. I want you to flake away, meaning like this, like just trying to, flick you off because I ain't got nothing for you. I already, made my mind up that I don't fuck with you. See? So sometimes Pisces is still empathizing, showing compassion, all while by doing so is that's why they would rather be flaky than it just hurt your feelings and tell you to, kick rocks. Because a Pisces looks at the whole bridge, see, of a situation where, hey, I might have to cross this bridge someday, even though I don't have to, even though I don't have to cross it right now. Let me just be flaky because that's just me letting you go because right now I don't want we don't it's obvious we don't have anything coming right now. But who knows what the future holds because to a Pisces, everything's about the potential, the possibilities. And with Pisces can be with any sign from the zodiac. The problem is when it comes to the problems, because a lot of times Pisces can be complex. They can be the type of person that, yeah, they can get with any sign, but that's only because Pisces has the different traits of every sign, if that makes sense. Now, um, yeah, we not consistent all the time either, but I'm telling you why is because when a Pisces feel like they're not getting the energy reciprocated, that's when the Pisces slows down and literally realizes that, wait a minute, I'm getting attached to something that doesn't want to attach to me. See? And that's when Pisces realized, okay, well, damn, I was all in for it, but now this person's they hesitated, meaning, Oh, what made you hesitate? We were talking, we were talking for days on end, doing all this and putting a lot of energy, making effort here and there. What changed? See, and then when a Pisces realized that there's a pattern of you holding back, then that's when the Pisces starts to look at the situation as being fishy. And then Pisces starts to do this push and pull situation as a result, just to test the boundary to see if the person really like this or are they being manipulative. See, because if you all remember, I said the illusion and the facade are always ready with everything that move. So when the illusion comes, Pisces is like, okay, a Pisces would rather go into a situation with empathy and compassion because that is the hall pass to get past the illusion and the facade unnoticed. Because Pisces is like, I'm aware. I know the illusion and the facade are going to be here when I meet you or when I meet a new person. So I got to be prepared for the facade and I got to be prepared for the illusion. But the only way that I could get past that and reach the truth of you and who you really are is through empathy and compassion and kindness. Because why would you hurt somebody that is kind to you? Why would you hurt somebody that's compassionate? If you would take advantage of a compassionate person, that shows a lot about you. So that's why Pisces knows this. If I'm showing love to you, why would you bite the hand that feed? See, okay, you bite the hand, that's the real you. That's the real you. So it's like Pisces helps people find their real, their true selves from within. It's almost like, oh, you don't know yourself? Well, you get with a Pisces, the Pisces gonna help you get there and reach that destination much faster. Now, the thing about it, people that have been saying that, hey, it's not a match, it's not true. It can work. It just takes work. See, because of those misunderstandings. Now, I will say there are different things that you cannot do with Gemini Pisces. Because Pisces, I know you. I'm a Pisces myself. When you get into a routine, bro, because sometimes you Pisces will bring on that pattern in regard to behavior. And once the emotions set in, you start getting too comfortable. So whatever you have experienced with the Gemini, and once you get comfortable with it, you put your, you lounge, lay on the couch, put your feet up, get a TV dinner, watch TV, and it's like, okay, now you got set into a routine. But the danger behind this Pisces is that the Gemini gets bored. And Pisces, you get relaxed. See? So now you're sitting there chilling Pisces, and now your Gemini doesn't like the routine that you set yourself into. Because that's what the difference is. Gemini keeps Pisces on their toes. So anytime there's a dull moment where, hey, you're putting TV dinners in and you're trying to stretch out on the sofa, Gemini is trying to get your ass out the house to go do something. Even if it's to go walk at the damn lake, even if it's to go window shopping at the mall, they do not want to get you into that routine where your ass is on the couch watching TV, because Gemini is the type of person that their mind ends up intellectualizing with everything. They have to get into stuff. They got to do stuff. So just the way you found them is the way that you have to um the same way that you found them is the same way that you have to treat them. That's the same energy you have to give them. Just like if you had what if you was on the couch and you had TV dinners and you're chilling You're emotionally comfortable, just like if you had a good meal. But let's say you went and got a pit bull as a pet. You can't sit on the couch and do that routine like you used to do because now you got a pit bull to attend to. Take it out for a walk. Go do all this stuff, Make sure it poops on the mat. All these extra things. And with Gemini, you if you get with them, it's not like, oh, that all stops. See, it's like, okay, now just as fast as you found them at that whole little, ice cream parlor, and you saw them walking around doing something, you best believe it's gonna stay that way. See, now here's the thing. Why? Because Gemini wants excitement, bro. They are not the type of person that, hey, I want to watch you eat and lay on the damn couch and look at TV. See, it's like if you looking for that type of vibe, get you a Taurus. But if you, like I say, if you with the Gemini is going to want to go somewhere. They're going to want to travel, do stuff, you know. And they, like I say, they don't get tired. So it's like you might get tired eventually, Pisces, and then all of a sudden Gemini still wants to go out there and DoorDash and go do other stuff and just rip run. And it's like you can't slow her or him down because they literally, when they say they're done with the door dashing, guess what? They're still out there door dashing. So it's like even if they told you, oh, I'm gonna take my ass home and go to bed, you best believe that the Gemini can change their mind and say, you know what? Nope, I'm not going home. So I got a spider on my leg, man. Just killed it with my bare hands. But yeah, um, I say that to say is that that's another thing that can get you into, frustration, Pisces, is the Gemini when they change their mind. Because they can literally, like I say, that's why the Gemini doesn't want to be locked into or boxed into an emotional type of situation because that can feel like a spider's web, if that makes sense. Because it's like they don't want to get caught into something where it makes them feel like, oh, the person was serious and trying to hold me accountable for something I said, because Gemini can change their mind on a dime, bro. Like they can be, oh, I'm going home for the night, and then all of a sudden they're on their way to the club. It's like nothing can pin them down, even their own decisions. It's like anything can change. Some can just come up to where, oh, Gemini, I thought you were done for the night. Oh no, I'm still out here. Nope, I'm gonna go for a drink. And even that can change. So it's like even if they're on their way to the bar, something else can change where now they're going to pick their son up from school or taking him somewhere or doing something. It's see, the thing about it, you might feel like the Gemini is doing too much, Pisces, because your your day to day is not that busy, or your day to day is not so much moving around and doing stuff like this. And you're like, damn, you could feel like, well, slow down, Gemini. Wait a minute, damn, you ain't even got caught your breath, or you just doing so much. What's going on? Because Pisces looks at that busybody type of vibe and energy as the person running from problems. It's like, why are you trying to be outside so much? Like, what are you running from? That's how Pisces will observe the Gemini energy. See, because it's not the way that a Pisces does things. But then the Gemini tells the Pisces, like, I'm bored. And see, what Pisces is like, define bored. Like, there has to be a reason why you're bored. A Gemini doesn't want to tell you, Pisces. So then that becomes an argument, and it leaves the Pisces feeling frustrated because Pisces is the type of zodiac sign that has to know why you're doing something. And when Pisces can't get that tender meat, and Pisces feels like they cannot get that out of you, bro, it irks the Pisces so bad that they will leave your ass, because Pisces doesn't trust anything that doesn't let go, bro. That's like if you. That's why with Scorpio, Scorpio ends up surrendering to Pisces in regards to this, because Pisces is like, what are you doing? Like, what are you? Why are you leaving out at 3 a.m.? What are you going? What is up? What's going on? What's out there so bad that you got to get out of bed, crawl out of bed, and go out there? Pisces has to know everything. But now, it can rub the Gemini the wrong way, because they misunderstand this as, oh, you're trying to be my daddy, or oh, you're trying to control me. See, because you want to know so much. But no, Pisces wants to know so much because Pisces wants to heal you, fix the situation, and normalize things, because Pisces can see, oh, so many booby traps and so many things that can literally catch the Gemini blindsided by being out there at hours of the night. It's like, well, shit, it could be some shit out there that could, stop you. And you think you finna go DoorDash, and somebody could try to rob you, God forbid. It's all kind of drunk drivers driving around. So with Pisces is like, let me know what you're doing, because hey, I might be your emergency contact off through through a SOS call or some shit. You out there doing stuff. Well, hey, I might get called anyway, so you might as well tell me what the hell you up to, what you doing. Because I'm gonna tell you, you don't tell Pisces certain things, the tender meat of a situation, they ain't gonna trust you anyway. They like, you won't even tell me what you're doing, because a Pisces would tell you what they're doing. But this is how it works. Pisces gives you 100%. It's like a loan. Pisces is like, okay, I want to give you a chance. I see the potential. I really want to work with you until you prove me wrong. Until you prove to me that I can't trust you, I'm gonna give you this $100 bill, and I expect to get that $100 bill back the same way I gave it to you. So when Pisces literally give you that trust, Pisces is like, don't disappoint me. I gave you a crispy $100 bill. I just want you to give me the same reciprocation that I gave you without holding back. Because if you don't hold back, now that means that you're putting effort in. Okay, you're taking a chance, not a risk. It's like, okay, you're doing this because you wanted to, not because you were forced to. But when you hesitate, that shows ulterior motive. That shows, oh, you're trying to control the situation rather than experience it. So Pisces feel like we on two different timings where this ain't gonna work. Because Pisces is quick to end the cycle. Pisces is quick to end something rather than stick around and find out later, because of the intuition. See? And the thing about it is, Pisces is all about getting even. If they gave that $100 up front and they didn't come back the same way they gave it, Pisces doesn't. One thing is that not only will Pisces get frustrated, but Pisces cannot hide the way they feel. See, so it's almost like Pisces would literally say to themselves, if you did cheat them out of something or beat them out of something, you best believe they gonna get revenge, bro. But the difference is they don't get revenge the same way that you probably would think they, would do it, because Pisces has a way of speeding up karma, because of once a Pisces then did something from the kindness of their heart, now you're met with karma. It's not so much the Pisces physically doing something to you always. Sometimes it just be something supernatural that, bam, you ended up just being caught in the wrong time, wrong moment, but it was because of that. Now, I will say that when a Gemini wants excitement, okay, Pisces wants the emotional consistency. That's the whole example I gave with the $100 bill. expecting it to be given, or the energy or the effort being reciprocated. Now, when it comes to this, as a Gemini looks at it, they don't like the whole same thing every day. Same thing every day. If you do that, you're going to lose a Gemini. See? And the crazy thing is when you lose a Gemini, you don't even realize that you could lose her or him in so many different ways and scenarios. She can either cheat on you, get with somebody that's doing the opposite, but no pattern recognition. Everything is spontaneous. Oh, we're doing different shit and nobody knows when, what, how. Because as long as you're doing something that's not a pattern, you could get a Gemini. They just don't want to be bored. See? So here, why does this happen so much? What is the reason for this? Because one person feels trapped, see, and the other person feels abandoned. So when you look at the situation, Gemini can feel trapped because you want to know so much. You want to start a pattern, see, and there's friction to them and their energy because now they look at you like, oh, you trying to trap me because you don't want to be alone or you don't want to be abandoned by me because that's what required a connection to stay together. Well, hey, well, what are we doing here? Going back to that, what are we doing here? So the thing is, if you want to if you want to keep a Gemini, you have to let them do their thing, just as you found them. If that makes sense. Now, not many people is willing to do that though. See, because usually when you find something, you know, you think it's yours. It's like, hey, this is mine. I got this, and now you want to, have it follow you around and do stuff, do it your way. And then when you realize this with Gemini, you got to let them do them their way. Let them do them their way. See, in order to keep them. Because if you try to do it your way and you trying to control them and you trying to tell them, hey, you need to do this, we're doing that, you're going to lose them. Now, both end up speaking different emotional languages. Not saying that Gemini is not emotional, but Pisces is all about action, meaning show me you care. See, that goes back to the dollar bill situation. Show me you care. Put something of value on the table in an analogy way. It's like put something of value, something you care about, show me. See? Now with Gemini is more about let's talk about it. Oh, let's talk about it. And that's where that's see the two differences of love language. That's where it start rubbing each of them the wrong way because Pisces saying show me, Gemini is saying let's talk about it. And how Pisces looks at that is not everything can be logically um not everything could be logically corrected to a point where Pisces like, well, I'm not getting what I'm looking for when you do that, Gemini. See, it's like we're just talking about it, but then where are we going with this? Because there has to be a destination with Pisces, bro. If we do not meet our destination, then guess what? This could easily turn into a shit show of misunderstandings. So where are we going with this? Are we just gonna be friends? Because that's how it comes with Pisces is that, okay, if we're not doing XYZ, then it stops here. And if we literally park the boat right here, and then hey, if it's gonna be friends, it's gonna be friends. The thing with Gemini, you can't box them in a category like, oh, we're just friends. Because with Gemini, they can literally you might be friends and then something else, then something else, then something else. It has no defiance of of a whole categorized where or category where hey, we're just friends because guess what? If you get with a Gemini, yeah, even if y'all were just friends, guess y'all might still screw around and just be friends to the point where now they don't want to have it to where they're boxed into just one thing. They want to be able to go and fro back, do this, then do this, and then do that, then do that. It's like they want to be free, see, to make decisions. So they just want to keep the option open. That's why when let's talk about it, but then it ends up turning because I'm gonna tell you why Pisces doesn't want to talk about it. It's not that they can't talk about it. Pisces doesn't want to negotiate. See, Pisces doesn't want to negotiate because of the explaining themselves. See, and Pisces sees the trap within itself of explaining themselves about something that they want, knowing that that's not going to look good. See, it's not going to look good for a Pisces to explain anything. So Pisces wants to do less talking and would rather you show them instead through action. So that's the difference. That's why it causes misunderstandings because Gemini wants to talk about it. Pisces is like, hey, show me. Now that just shows both of you speak two different languages, two different love languages. Now, both love each other, but at the same time, both of y'all feel misunderstood. And this could be the reason why, those problems come up that, oh, Gemini could be saying the same thing that Pisces feels about a situation, and then vice versa. But if you don't let the other person do their thing, it ends up ending because you got to let the Gemini go through their process of how they process things. Gemini has to let Pisces go through their phase of feeling things. And you guys have to meet each other halfway in order for it to work. It's like you may have to compromise that Gemini, just as Pisces, you would have to compromise, literally, doing something different other than how you would normally do things, and in Gemini, and vice versa. You said, let me see, yeah, definitely Gemini, yeah, definitely, Pisces, they like a lot of attention too. So does Gemini. That's why I said they pretty much like the same things. They love each other. That's one thing. It's that Gemini really loves Pisces. Pisces really loves Gemini. It's just they feel misunderstood as well. So it's like a 50-50 to the point where it can work, but then it's like you just gotta, if you want everything to be 100%, like far as, almost perfect, you gotta be willing to compromise to get there. Now, the real issue is that people oftentimes think it's because of loyalty, communication, or attraction. But remember that Gemini wants freedom, Pisces wants the emotional security. When Gemini feels controlled, they're going to pull away. See, now when they pull away, what brings them back? That's what you got to know how to do because one thing with Gemini, I'm telling you, bro, like I've been in a situation where a Gemini was, cheating on somebody else with me. And then like they really never talked about the problems, but I could tell me catching them at that time was related to their freedom. See, because they're not gonna just stay in a situation and be unhappy. Now, when Pisces feels disconnected, they pull away. So as soon as a Pisces doesn't feel like, oh, we're getting anywhere, meaning going to the destination with the connection, then a Pisces will disconnect because we gotta be going somewhere. We have to really make this into a merge contract, in other words. And the contract is not controlled. This just means that we gotta be purposeful We have to be headed towards something to show we really care about each other, because otherwise it can just stop here. See? So it's like, if you're not willing to stay connected, then we might as well just, hey, it ain't we, but the Pisces would simply just disconnect. Now, the problem here is that when they break up, because Pisces gives no ending, meaning they disconnect, and the Gemini, they don't want, like I say, as soon as they feel controlled in any way, they pull away. So both of them end up wondering, damn, what happened? Damn, what just happened? What happened between us? See? So here, that's why I said you got to be careful, because this could be a soulmate type of companionship, or it could be a disaster made in hell. So that's why I say, like, you got to know how to work the relationship. You got to know how to work well together to make it well. Otherwise, like I say, it's going to be confusing. If you don't if you if you don't put that effort in, it's going to be confusion. Now, also I'll talk about the bad traits, and I'll say like the really bad traits between Gemini and Pisces is break this down for y'all. Okay, so when you look at when you look at the inconsistencies, which this is considered a really, really bad trait, and it's the inconsistencies with Gemini. Okay. Now, let's say a Pisces feels like, hey, you said one thing yesterday and another thing today. Remember this whole switch, this instant switch, because you're dealing with the twins, okay, with the Gemini. So with the twins, it could be a change at any moment, meaning there you will feel that switch just like a light switch. You will feel it on and off, to where, damn, what made you change your mind so fast? Because this is the thing. Pisces can see you do one thing and then instantly you just do something else. And then a Pisces starts to feel like, hey, why why so much inconsistent, you know, why so much inconsistency, in regards to you doing one thing, and then all of a sudden you don't follow all the way through. Because remember, Pisces is trying to get to the destination, meaning they're trying to get somewhere with the connection. And when Pisces literally gave you $100 bill, Gemini could give $100 bill. But the problem is they could give a counterfeit $100 bill, because the illusion, bro. So here, why do I say this? Because Gemini would say, okay, yeah, that's fine. We could go and move this along until I get bored. So imagine Pisces is like, okay, well, cool. We're going to do this. We're going to set out. We're going to take this boat way out, and we're going to go all the way through with this. But the thing is that the Gemini doesn't explain the whole only if I get bored situation. Only until I get bored, because that soon as they get bored, switch. And now, oh, that can really, really, really throw Pisces for a loop, because, oh, I thought we were going to take this all the way through. Now we're 85% there, and the Gemini just switched that quick. Just switched up. Now the problem is, when Pisces sees this, this is what we learn about Gemini. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just trying to get you to understand the twins. People have messed this up so many damn times. One of the twins for Gemini is about pulling away, cold-blooded. Meaning, people do not know why is it that the Gemini will be all in one week, because that's one twin. That's one of the twins. Meaning, there's interest there. Yes, half the time I want to do these things, but I'm also interested in doing something different. And guess what? It ain't even got to be a reason about him or her getting bored. They have different interests, bro, to the point where she could be interested in getting married, getting into a relationship, but then she may also be interested in cheating, doing other things, but she doesn't see it the same way you see it. You might see it as bad. She might see it as, oh, this is fun. It's cold-blooded. Because she ain't looking at the things in such of a moral aspect. She looking at it like, as soon as I feel like this shit is just, this ain't what it's boring, or hey, it's too predictable, switch. Almost as if you never really had her to begin with. Because she can switch where, damn, we went all the way out there on that boat ride, 85% of the way. She literally is headed back. And we were almost there. That could be the relationship where you feel like, damn, it's going somewhere and we getting somewhere together. And she can literally just, he or she can literally just unpredictable to where all in and then literally just distant. And you cannot get the understanding of, oh, why did you do that? Oh, I'm hurt because I thought this was going one way. And nope. To her, she has different personalities. She has different interests. So that's why she doesn't want to explain the problems. She doesn't want to go off into why this, why that, the 21 questions. She doesn't want to explain this, that, because when she decides to switch, to her, that's what she wanted to do. See? That's why I said, bro, you can't be like thinking that she's going to pick one lane. If it's two twins, that means she's going to have more than one lane. Not because, oh, I'm trying to plot some shit or I'm trying to be sneaky about it. No, this is just her. Now, the crazy thing is, when you pick two lanes, what does it show? It shows that most of her decisions are not about what she says. Even though she's very communicative, very social, especially when it comes to the interactions. But it gets even better. She is going to do everything in her actions versus what she says, bro. Her actions is where her trust is. It's cold-blooded. Remember when I said how you found her is her true self. It's cold-blooded. And see, the thing about it is, you may feel that, damn, I really didn't really know her. Because, oh, that is the thing that gets a lot of people frustrated. Is because you will get to know your Gemini for a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden you think you know them. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know them like you think you do. See, remember, you need to trust the real her in her actions, not her words. And then guess what a Pisces stops doing? Once you do, because this is the thing. If you devastate a Pisces, the sensitivity will come out. But the sensitivity is not what you think it is. The sensitivity is that I don't trust nothing else you would ever say to me, Gemini. Ever. I'm going all by your actions. Because if you go all the way, 85% with all those miles, and then you just literally, I'm going back. You do that to a Pisces, remember, Pisces is the master of ending cycles. You lie to a Pisces, that's your last time lying to a Pisces. See, the thing why I say this is that Pisces would not let you lie to them again. Pisces will not let you lie to them a second time. You got away with it that one time, and that will be the only time. Because now Pisces will say, oh, you done darted off in another direction, and you said you were going to do this, and you didn't follow through. You don't get that second, you do not get the version that you once got of Pisces. This is what frustrates a lot of people. When you lie or you mess up a Pisces the first time, you don't get that version back again. You get introduced to the shark. You get introduced to the other fish. See, and now all of a sudden, this fish does not move the same way as the first version. See, so now you feel like, oh, you don't even know the Pisces because at this point, this Pisces will literally stay connected to you to end your cycle. It could be a Pisces take out on that boat with you 99.9% there, but then that 1% of Pisces is like, you know what? You know, I changed my mind. It hit different. Oh, after thinking about it, I'm gonna call this marriage off. Just to give you your own energy right back to you. Oh, you remember that time when we was 85% out of the way and you decided to dart back into the opposite direction? Cool. Now I'm going to end your cycle and I'm going to catch you. It's going to catch you off guard because you're going to say, well, damn, you went 99.9% of the way. We was just pulling up to our destination and you decided to call it off. And I know a lot of y'all might say, well, that's vindictive and yeah, that's bogus. And it is bogus, but the point is the Pisces wanted 100% of which they gave you. So if you give them 50 and you do something that you never told them about and you caught them off guard, that's why Pisces wants to know everything up front. It's like, let me know these things. Let me know that you tend to, dart off from time to time. Let me know this because if I find out, that's your last time doing that. And it really puts a bruise into the ego because even if you don't stay with that Pisces, you go to someone else, having had that cycle ended, you won't be as confident as you once were doing that crap. It ends to the point where you don't even want to do it no more. You don't even have the confidence in darting off anymore in that way to somebody else. See, because you keep having those flashbacks of that Pisces. It's almost like the way the Pisces ended the cycle ends up being a memory. See, and it's almost like you start to have those moments where you start, having flashbacks where, oh, that was your one and only time. Yeah, you did it. Oh, you ain't doing this no more. So it could be like that. Now, sensitive Pisces, that's the Pisces that holds you accountable. See, to the point where you do something that catches a Pisces off guard, because Pisces is like the Coast Guard anyway. So anything that slip past or get past, and it's like, oh, hold on, how the hell this, sneak through? Because you gotta understand why I said Pisces is like a Coast Guard, because Pisces has boundaries, bro. And when you cross the line, a Pisces is like, wait a minute, how did he or she pull that off without me knowing? See, so now if it snuck in and a Pisces realize, how did it sneak in? Because I'm taking you at face value. See, I'm looking at you like I'm looking at myself because I gave you 100%. But when it's not reciprocated, and I find out you were all in and you just literally distanced yourself and I ain't without reason, now I see, okay, set the boundary that you can't do this anymore. You can't pull that off. You're not gonna be able to do that with me no more. That darting off thing. See? So that could be a situation, or just changing up, suddenly. So that's why I said, like, when you do this, then a Pisces won't even just trust your words anymore. And I mean, they won't trust your words no more after that. Now, Pisces can be emotionally overwhelming to a Gemini because, like I say, with Gemini, everything doesn't need to be, a deep conversation. Remember, when you look at this in itself, the reason why it feels like this is because Pisces wants to see if you can swim. See, and by putting you in this situation to find out, oh, you can't swim, means you cannot keep up with me. See, so here the Gemini can be quick to move on. They don't want to sit there and go off, into the whole, you did this and I'm sorry, all the whole little, the emotion, the emotional type of, situation that occur when people have differences or whatnot. So Gemini wants to move on. Pisces wants to analyze what happened. See, they want to know what happened, and Gemini doesn't want to hear what you have to say. They don't want to explain. So to a Gemini, they might look at it briefly, going back to the reminder on the phone. Hey, it's not that deep, and leave it there. So why is this happening? Because the Gemini gets emotionally drained, bro. It don't take much to get a Gemini emotionally drained, bro. Because like I say, they already have the problems that they're facing that they don't want to talk about. So anything extra is only gonna just make them upset. And sometimes with the switch, this could go from 0 to 100 real quick, because with one twin, bro, just as I said, this is the turbulence, and this is the thing you gotta watch out for with Gemini, bro. Is that just as they can just switch on just literally be all in and then distant like that, and you gotta know that this is not just a one-time ordeal. It could be several instances where they literally say one thing and then do another. That's what the twins represent. Now, what you gotta watch out for is that when when the Gemini is avoiding something, they can literally switch. They can change up it. They'll change up very, very quick, because if something feels deep, something feels serious, you're gonna lose a Gemini. I'm gonna tell you. Now, when let's say a Pisces asks a question, and they're trying to figure out something, trying to analyze something, and they simply go to the Gemini, and then they're like, hey, stop making jokes and answer the damn question. Then Pisces starts to, discuss their feelings. Gemini, what do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to talk about, your feelings as you discuss them? No, they're going to switch, meaning they're going to change the subject. So Pisces can feel like, hey, why are you dodging the question? But then all of a sudden, what would this do to the Pisces? Make them feel emotionally alone. And remember, if the Pisces feel emotionally alone, they're going to disconnect emotionally alone. See? So Pisces can become passive aggressive with this because if a Gemini looks at their behavior, they're going to say, well, damn, if something's wrong, just say it. But then Pisces is going to say, oh, you don't say what's wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because the Pisces, you're asking what's wrong rather than letting her just tell it out on her own. See? So that's another thing, because if you ask, a lot of times the Gemini is not going to do it. They want to do it on their own. Now, Pisces might say things like I say, I'm fine. But at the same time, it could be a situation where, when they're not fine. So remember I said the 50-50 situation, but here's the thing. The Gemini could be like, well, damn, you acting, you know, you're acting flaky, you're acting funny in such a way. But why am I saying this? Because anytime there's problems with Pisces and Gemini, they never get solved, bro. So could you imagine when there is a problem, neither one of y'all will literally answer one. That's why I said it's going to take a compromise, because neither one of y'all want to talk about it, deal with it in the same way. Now, one thing about Gemini is he or she may always need space. Now, it may always feel like this. So Gemini could disappear for the weekend. It could be every weekend they disappear. They got to go do their own thing because, that's just them. That's their thing. Well, see, the problem is with Pisces, you might start thinking that something is wrong. See, you might look into that and see that as not being normal. You might think the Gemini is up to something. But it gets even worse, because then a Pisces wants you to explain, meaning, where you been? Where have you been? See, Gemini, where have you been? Now, you've been every weekend. You've been taking off. You've been disappearing every weekend. So what could this end up leading to? It can lead for the Pisces to experience constant insecurities, because with Pisces, they need you to be here, meaning I need to see you. Not every day, but I need to see you majority of the time because of the connection. But if you're not here with me, then I don't really feel we're really connected. That's the thing. When Pisces feels that, hey, we ain't really tight as I thought, bro, the Pisces is going to leave. They're going to be done, one and done, because that's all it takes is for the Pisces to feel that, hey, man, the person ain't really rocking with you like you thought, because they didn't took off for a weekend. And I know even if you was just simply having fun, Gemini, the Pisces is going to look at it in a whole, because y'all are different in your own way. Okay. Now, Pisces can idolize people, meaning it could be a situation where Pisces might say, oh, you're inconsistent, Gemini. You say you're going to do something and then you do something else. You need to pick a side. You need to pick a lane. And then what can happen is the category, see, ends up getting brought up to where Pisces will put you in a box. Oh, well, you this type of person, because now that I know you, at least I know, from your actions, you don't follow through. So that could become annoying to a Gemini, because a Gemini doesn't like to be defined as something that they feel they're not. So they may say, that's not who I am. And then all of a sudden the Pisces ends up, you know, falling in love with the potential of her or him not being that of which they thought, which can be a problem, Pisces, because the problem is the Gemini can feel like, well, damn, you made me into somebody that I'm not. And the thing about it is, you both of y'all can end up becoming disappointed because it's like Gemini is not gonna let you just say something in a way like, "Oh, you're this type of person," and just let it slide, let it ride, and just move on, like, and get past it. They will pull away, see, and then when they pull away, you don't know what they're doing, and now you start feeling some type of way. And then now all of a sudden it just lead to disappointment because you can't get that conversation with Gemini Pisces like you would want to be like, hey, what's going on? Can we get past this? Because Pisces would literally like to give you the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, they'll try to see the possibility of the situation, not just wanting to kick you to the curb ASAP. Now, Gemini can be unintentionally cold. This means that it's going to take time for her or him to open up. Pisces can just be, the type of person that just opens up because remember, Pisces is authentic. They're just being themselves. They look at a situation like, before I do anything, I'm gonna be 100 all the time. Meaning, I'm gonna open up because that's the only way that you and I can have a meaningful connection. I have to be 100 with you off the rip. See, but a Pisces has their different, different feelings of why that is, because Pisces doesn't want to deal with anything that's not giving their all. If that makes sense, even if it's so soon. Now here, the Pisces ends up. Let's say the Pisces ends up opening up and being the first one. And then the different dynamic. If it's you're a Pisces man, she's a Gemini woman. You got to be careful, Pisces, because literally, if she sees you opened up first, like I say, she can look at you as being less of a man or something because of the dynamic. Oh, you opening up, you getting all, you know, wanting to connect more, looking at a situation with logic instead of what? Empathy. See, she would literally look at it in a logical way, and all of a sudden, she don't really see how and why you're doing what you're doing, Pisces, because she doesn't use empathy. So it's like you might feel like, oh, well, shit, I was just meeting you halfway, and I was just empathizing. I really was trying to get to know you, and then all of a sudden, the Gemini like, oh, well, shit, you was getting all in, lovey-doveys and getting all, serious and whoop-de-whoop. So then next thing you know, it could be a situation where both of them emotionally disconnect, because it could be a situation where Pisces feels like I needed support. See? But then the Gemini can be like, wanting to talk things out, and then Pisces like, well, shit, I just needed support. Not a TD, not a TED talk. So that's why I said it can lead to emotional disconnect, because both of y'all can get frustrated when y'all not getting anywhere. Um, Sometimes the Pisces can hold on too long when the relationship is clearly unhealthy. And why is this? Because Pisces, we're known to keep giving chances. So here, if you remember, I said it's not always a good idea to give chances, because one too many chances, right? So when they realize they've been given too many chances, then in Pisces, the resentment starts to build, because I've given you all these chances, and now it's almost like the Gemini doesn't even like want the relationship anyway. It's almost like, yeah, you give them chance, but then they don't even really want it anyway. Okay. Now going back to Gemini's getting bored, they get bored because the routine becomes predictable. And then in a Gemini's head is like, what's next? Okay, we didn't talk. What's next? And it could be all these type of, when the moment or the spark, starts to lose its spark, things begin to slow down, because, at first it was fast paced. But once a Gemini starts to notice these things where things are slowing down, they realize like then in their mind they're already trying to move on to something different. So here, Pisces can feel like they can never provide enough excitement for Gemini because with Pisces is like, okay, let me take you somewhere where you could utilize and burn off all this energy. See, because to a Pisces, Gemini could be off the chain, could be hyper, to where Pisces is like, you know what? Let's go to Dave and Buster's, play some laser tag, get some, get a bite to eat. Let's go. We'll go to the lake and we'll go, walk around for an hour or two. Then we'll go to happy hour, have a drink, and a Pisces like it. Then you know what? I'm gonna go to the crib. I'm gonna go in my little man cave and I'm gonna play the game and make me a baked potato with some raccoon. Uh, you know. And then next you know, Pisces is thinking that was enough. And Pisces get back to the crib, and then the Gemini is like, what's next? And Pisces like, no way. Hell no. We done went and got ice cream and did this and shit. We done went to the movies. We done went and walked out at the lake. Man, like, I'm tired, shit. Like, what else? What you mean what's next? So that could be the frustration that you might feel like the Gemini should be tired and ready to go to bed or go do something else. And the Gemini is just simply like, okay, what's next? Now, what we about to do now? What's up? And you like looking at the Gemini like, I know you lying. Like we didn't did all of that. So you talking about you want some more? You want to go do some other stuff too? And that's the thing, bro. Like you can't not think that if you pick a Gemini partner, bro, he or she never gets tired, bro. Whether that be talking for hours, then going to do a bunch of stuff together. She has a lot of energy, bro. She has a lot of energy. I remember, bro, I had a Gemini girlfriend, bro. I will never forget this, bro. Cause it's very hard to forget Gemini partners, bro. Because literally they will make it. See, the good thing about Gemini is that once you get with them, you got them until, like I say, they either get bored or they find something else to do. But just enjoy the moment. I'm not saying not saying that they're a 304 or nothing like that. I'm just saying enjoy the moment. Cause I remember a situation. I was with one, and man, every time she was this was before I was driving, okay? Before I had my license, she was always taking me to work, okay? And the crazy thing was, every time she dropped me off at work, we would like, have sex in the car and shit. And it was like we would always do this every time we'd be screwing in the car, then she'd drop me off at work. And then, bro, literally I would get off at nighttime. I shit you not, bro. Bro, she would literally be waiting in her car and I'd be getting off. She'd be right on time, bro. Like, not later, none of that, bro. Like, on the money, every time I got off, she there. Boom, there, boom, there, boom. So she was like loyal to a T, bro. Ain't never have no issues with her. And like anytime I wanted to do something, she wanted to do it too. So it's like it wasn't like no fighting or arguing going on and none of that. It wasn't like no bickering. It was just we was cool. But it's like that's all I'm just saying is like it can work, bro. You just gotta, like I say, work the little differences out. The funny thing was it wasn't no differences. The only thing, now I will say, how it ended was she wanted me to come over for dinner and spend the night because at the time I didn't have a car. So she was like, yo, you coming this weekend? I want to see you. My parents, her parents will always cook and stuff. She's like, when you come over, you got to stay for at least like 2 days or something, right? I'm like, damn, because I wanted to, play basketball with my with my homies and stuff at my grandmother's house. I'm like, yo, damn, we just hung out last weekend and the last one before that. Like, let me just have this Saturday for me to go play basketball. So what ended up happening, long story short, she broke up with me. She broke up with me because I wouldn't spend the night, bro. And I was like, what? She said, no, you since you want to choose your friends, then go be with them then. I'm like, what? Why are you saying that? And she was like, cuz if you don't come and spend the night with me, then I'm done. I said, oh my God, bro. You don't pull one of these ultimatums on me. So to me, I felt like when a Gemini wants you to do something, and it's like if you turn it down, bro, they might look at it, they're gonna look at it different. Like, oh, okay, well, you're choosing them over me. And I'm like, it wasn't even like that, bro. It was just that I had already been over there the weekend before and the weekend before that. So I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to play basketball. So I'm like, man, I want to hoop. And then like I was telling her, well, shit, I can see you Sunday, spend the night to Monday. No, 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 you gotta come today and whoop do. I'm like, man, so I felt like it was a control issue, but it was nothing I could do about it because, like I say, me not obviously not coming over there, it ended up ending. But that was just crazy. But I ain't gonna lie, you're one of my favorite girlfriends that I ever had. So, it was just like I was really like hurt behind us splitting up because I'm like, damn, the thing about Gemini, it's hard to find somebody that's willy-nilly to do certain things or just, pick you up from work, take you there, let you use her car, little stuff that she was doing because I didn't have a car. So I felt like, damn, it's hard to find a woman like that. Now, another thing is, so yeah, definitely can work. I know it's pretty dark, y'all, because the lights done went out, but yeah, this rain is just terrible. But another thing is with Gemini, like I said, it could be a man or a woman. They trigger each other's biggest fear. Okay, so Gemini's biggest fear is being controlled. Pisces' biggest fear is being abandoned. So here, Pisces wants more closeness. Gemini wants more freedom. So how does this look? When I say closeness, what this means is it's not so much just being hugged up. See, going in back that going to the intimacy. It's very important if you're a Pisces, man or woman. So the craziest thing with this whole getting, together, having the lovey doveys, is that if you get with a Pisces, you must be willing and ready to fuck because this has to happen. Why you think that Pisces would go for a partner like Scorpio or Taurus? Because they want to get in the bedroom and this must happen. If it doesn't, then the Pisces is going to feel abandoned to the point where they're going to be willing to throw the towel in. They're going to be willing to just quit it because this situation ain't, you know, it ain't sex enough. It ain't really sexually charged of a connection. See? So any partner that a Pisces will pick usually had to be somebody that wants to do these things. Now, on a frequent basis. Um, you said Gemini said you don't get it when it spoke on the basketball story, but she dedicated her time, asked for nothing in return but your physical love. She probably was very catering and very vulnerable in y'all alone moments. Yeah, I feel like I know something was going on in that direction, but it's like, but it was a deeper problem um that was going on. So she had this, and she wasn't telling me about this. Now, which was scary. Okay, so I don't talk to her anymore, so I can share this, but maybe y'all know what the hell this was. But so now at the time I was probably about 19 years old and she was probably about 20 or something like that. Um Problem was that her dad I believe her dad was racist. Not I wouldn't say um I'm I would just say what he told me was this, that hey, was when I would come over there and eat with them, it's like her mom was cool, but then her dad would always kind of be like, he told me something about him if he ever has to use his rifle, if I hurt his daughter or something, some crazy type of talk he had with me, and it was just like that threw me off. That made me feel uncomfortable about the whole proceeding of the spending the night, continuously. Now there was a problem. Now she did share briefly with me that she was having irregular periods and she kept telling me how you know her cycle was not ending and it was going on for more than like 2, 3, 4 months, and she said she was going to get surgery, but she wouldn't tell me what it was and what kind of surgery she was going to get done about it. So it's like I knew something was up because that's not normal, and it she said that it had been going on for too long, and she said that something she was going to get something surgically done regarding her irregular periods. Now that was that was really something that I was feeling up in here, and I ain't really feel comfortable like going there because we were still she wasn't always having nothing, no red, what they call it, it wasn't no Kool-Aid. I had to use a different word you know, to its meaning. But yeah, it wasn't in Kool-Aid when I went, when we were doing it, but it's times because most time we was in the shower anyway, but it wasn't really nothing doing nothing too fancy of that type of murky waters. But yeah, long story short, I didn't feel comfortable going back on the weekend because that was too much, pulling and tugging far as like us to keep doing that same thing with those the same issues. So it was just like, yeah, it was like spotting, but it was like it was going on like for months, she said. So but when we was in the car and all that, it wasn't doing that. So I don't know like what the hell was going on. I did ask her about it. She didn't want to tell me, so I just left it alone. But it was just to me like weird, and it was really like me not wanting to come because of her dad. That was the reason why. Like I really didn't want to go, but it was like I needed a break, like a mental break, as far as me going to play basketball instead. But I just didn't. I didn't factor in the fact that she was going to break up with me for that. I thought she was just going to understand, but nah, she didn't. So yeah, it was just crazy from there though. Um, okay, so let me see. So yeah, so when it can feel like the more one pushes, the other pulls away. See, so that it can feel like this push and pull type of situation when you are Pisces versus a Gemini. And I don't mean like versus. Just if you in a friendship, it could feel this way. If you're in a relationship, it could feel this way. So one twin. Now I'm gonna break it down for y'all. Okay. Um, like what do the twins? I'm gonna break it down for y'all. Okay, so like, what do the twins mean for Gemini? Okay, because I don't know why it's been raining for man. It's raining all. all night long. Okay, so I'm gonna break this down. Okay, so when you look at the reason that why I said that one twin tends to pull away. Okay, now when you look at the duality, the twins represent two sides of the same person. Two sides of the same person. And when this happens, let me man, come on, man. Why? Let me see what. All right, so yeah, when this happens, two sides of the same person. Now, what are we saying here? Because when you say two sides of the same person, what I'm referring to is one twin represents logic, the other twin represents emotion. Okay. Now, the craziest thing is that also one twin represents curiosity and the other twin represents indecision. So here, the reason why the constant switch is because of that curiosity and that indecision. So it makes that Gemini, oh, go out 85%, then turn around and do something different because of this. Because the one thing about not only being a social butterfly with regarding Gemini is that they are very curious, bro. Very curious. Meaning she might drive outskirts just to see what's there and then drive back to go see, some other type of adventure that she may have. Even if even if she doesn't know where she's headed, she's still curious, see, to know what's there. Now, the craziest thing is one of the twins is the social self. The other twin is the private self. So here, that means that with the Gemini, they can constantly see multiple perspectives. They also have the ability to adapt to different people and situations. So that's the whole that whole situation right there. Now, the positive side of this is that they have versatility, so they very, they can do different things and really surprise you here because a lot of times you might not even think, oh, you probably wouldn't even think they were versatile. You probably would have thought they was only accustomed to, one or two things. Now they're also very intelligent, um, and that's in regard to communication, adaptability, learning things, and just like I say, curiosity in itself. Now, a Gemini can talk to anybody about anything, even if they don't like you. See, it's a reason why they will still talk to you even if they don't like you. And the whole thing, and the mere fact why they will want to, is because they want to be able to choose. They just want to have the option. They don't, instead of having that option removed or cut off, where someone says, hey, you could talk to everybody but Andre, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna go for that because they want to be free in their decisions and their options. So they will say, oh, you told me not to talk to Andre. Well, guess what? I'm gonna still talk to Andre because I want to still have the choice, even if she or he doesn't like Andre. That makes sense. Now, the negative side of this, of the twins, in its symbolism, is the inconsistencies, the mixed signals, the mood changes, the contradictions, the indecisiveness, and being misunderstood. That's why Geminis get along so well with Libra, because Libra is indecisive too. See, and a lot of times they balance each other out. Now, if you look at the twin in itself, this is what you don't know. Which one it which one showed up today? Which one are you met with? because you gotta know this. That's the whole tricky thing is that which one do you get when you meet them? So here, this could be related to the dark side because you gotta understand, you don't know what twin you're gonna get. When in the whole thing, it doesn't even have to be the right setting for one twin to show up. So here, let's say if you if you are met with the dark side of Gemini, this could be the type of Gemini that says one thing and then does another. And what do we call this? Mixed signals, being hot and cold, changing their mind quickly, having multiple versions of themselves for different people. And this is the thing, bro. If you, let's say someone that's different from you, obviously has different personality, different interests, curious about different things, you don't always get that same Gemini for yourself, if that makes sense. Because sometimes it's like, yeah, they'll do certain things with you, but then you may find out later that, oh, they're doing different things with different people. Now, some people look at that as being two-faced and this and that and this and the other. But remember, they have different interests for a reason. They're very curious, so they're gonna have different things that you're probably not gonna be aware of. Meaning they might go fishing with you, but then you find out, hey, they're in, that they have an interest for something that you didn't even know about. And usually the only way you end up finding this out is through other people that know them as well. Now, remember, it could be those scenarios with dark side of Gemini where, hey, I'm all in until I'm not. Friday comes, they need space. So you might start to think, okay, which one am I dealing with? Twin A or twin B? Now, this does not mean that the Gemini is fake. That's not what I'm saying. Does not mean that they are fake. It's just the fact that when it comes to the symbolism of the twins, they're often interpreted as more than one side of everything. More than one side of everything. See, so here that's why you cannot expect them to just be one thing, like one thing, and just stick to one thing. See? So, because to them, routine is boring. Routine is boring to them. So when it comes to Pisces, it's represented by the two fish swimming in opposite directions. So here you're dealing with emotions versus reality. Now, it also can mean dreams versus practicality. A Gemini is represented by the twins, which means multiple perspectives, multiple possibilities, and multiple identities. So that's why you might not mess with a Gemini if you're not used to a person having different perspectives, different interests, not just being one thing and only one thing. That makes sense. Now another thing is the because a lot of misconceptions, people think that they think Gemini is two-faced, but the whole thing is they see two sides of everything. So sometimes, like, if a Gemini, like for instance, a Gemini can look at a person being real and a person that is being fake, right? And then they can see both sides of being that way to where they don't give a damn if you real. It's almost like I don't care about you being real, still don't like your ass, or it they're not gonna just be like, oh, because you're real, I gotta accept that, so they can feel different from a person being real versus a person being fake. It's like you can't expect them to just talk to the real one and discard or just you know turn their back on the fake one, if that makes sense. Now, Just like with people, just like when everybody say that Pisces is the two fish, nobody talks about the Gemini's two minds. See? And that's why I say the two minds is that's what you gotta watch out for, because if you had put it to you like this, if you had two minds, what would you be capable of in the chat? If you had two minds, that means you could have one idea over here and do one thing, but then have another one doing something different. But think about it. What if both of the mindsets that you have at once, that means you could have the best of both worlds. You could have one thing over here and still have something over here. That's why I be telling people, like, you got to be careful because, bro, Gemini can multitask like a mug, bro. They can do two things at one time, be, just over here, being having experiences, new experiences, new people, experiencing new people, new ideas, new conversations. And then all of a sudden, the Gemini gets whiff of a business idea. Next thing you know, the Gemini is working on that as well. See? So it could be mind number one, focusing on the, curiosity of things. When you look at the other twin in the mindset, could be the analytical mind. So here, it's almost like they can have side questions to everything. 5 minutes later, what if this doesn't work? See, what am I missing? Is there a better option? Remember, everything is about options for Gemini. Now, in their mind, oh, let's do it. Remember I said, let's talk about this. Well, let's do it. Well, it could be a perspective where they're like, well, hold on, you know, going to the second mindset. Well, hold on, let's think about this first. So once one side is saying, let's talk about this first. One side is saying, let's think about this first. Because why? Life is short. So it could be a situation where one mind is saying that life is short, the other mind is saying that mistakes are long. See? So when it comes to relationships, one mindset could be, I really like this person. But the other mindset could be, but hey, is this person really right for me? See that? So it could be a situation where one mindset with the Gemini is saying, hey, give them a chance. Then the other mindset is saying, watch their actions first. So sometimes by having the two mindsets creates inconsistencies and contradictions as a result, because you got to just do one thing at one time. See? But if you drive a stick shift, you got to do two different things just to keep things moving. But not everybody knows how to operate a stick shift, if that makes sense. Now, when it comes to Gemini, they can make things seem hot and cold. See how the different climate, when you look at both and experiencing hot and cold, what if this was in regards to your dinner being served? Would you want your food to just be hot and that's it? Or do you want it to just be cold and that's it? Meaning you choose one thing, right? But if you when you're dealing when you're dealing with a Gemini, things can be looked at as hot and cold at the same time. So here is when they're processing multiple viewpoints when they're doing this. Now, the good side of it all is the fact that the two minds, they help Gemini adapt quickly, understand different perspectives, solve problems creatively, and communicate with many different types of people. So that's why I say, when you are looking at a Gemini in such a way, what are we really saying? Well, they can see both sides of the coin. So they can see heads and they can see tails at the same time. Now, the bad side of this is that the two minds, like I say, they could create overthinking, inconsistencies, contradictions, mixed signals, and indecision because it's too much going on. So it could be a situation where they could be arguing with themselves. They don't have to have another person to argue with. Now, the ugly side of this is the paralysis, okay? So here, one mind wants to move forward, the other mind sees every possible risk. See, as a result, nothing gets done. That's why I said thinking so much caused them to miss the opportunity, bro. That's why I say if you're gonna do something, all I'm saying is have a destination, bro. Meaning, meaning fulfill it. Don't just talk about it, fulfill it. Because if you don't, you just gonna be thinking about some stuff that you should do together or alone, only to find out that you missed the opportunity as a result. So when we look at Gemini versus um, Pisces, the best way to explain this combination is Gemini represents what? The twins. Now, as I said, the easiest way to understand this is that the Gemini twins represent two perspectives. Now, when it comes to the two fish for Pisces, they represent two directions. So when you look at two fish going in opposite direction, this means that Pisces can be pulled in opposite directions. See, internally, meaning it's not about the outwardly conflict of what a Pisces will be susceptible to, but it's inward, the inward conflict that a Pisces has to struggle with. So sometimes the intuition becomes the reality to a Pisces because it could be a Pisces versus their own reality of how they see things. Because sometimes a Pisces likes to give chances where the intuition doesn't give chances. So a Pisces has to go within to find answers when they're not visibly seen, especially when it's not easy to see it. Because that means a Pisces can literally see the good in people and want to give people chances. The problem is you can't do that with everybody, and you shouldn't. But the intuition knows better, and the intuition always tells Pisces, no, 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 no. It's too soon. It's too soon to open up, Pisces. No, 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 not yet, not yet. And it's the little voices you hear as your body reacts to it first, and you realize, damn, which feeling should I follow? So that's why with Gemini feels like which possibility should I choose? So that's why I said Pisces is more associated with emotion and intuition. Now, when you look at the Gemini, it's not saying that the twins are fighting each other. They're debating every possibility before making a move. That's why I said they end up, if they do so, by overthinking, it could cause them to miss the opportunity. Now, another thing is when it comes to the really, really bad traits of the twins, I'm gonna break this down because when you look at Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, okay, um, is that a lot of times, let's say I've seen this with especially with Dark Side Gemini, I've seen this where one side is considered worse, and then the other one is even evil, even way more evil than the other twin, okay? So here we're going to look at it as, me one moment. And the reason I have to say this is because, bro, I've seen people I seen people really hurt by Gemini, bro, because this is the thing. Let's say let's look at one twin as being considered the light twin. Okay. Now, when you look at the humor, the adaptability, communication, intelligence, curiosity, charm, right? So this would be considered the life of the party in regards to the light twin. But when you look at the shadow twin, represents the unhealthy side of Gemini, manipulation, inconsistencies, gossip, deception, restlessness, playing both sides, emotional detachment, saying what people want to hear. Which version of you is showing up today? See? So here's the darkest secret of Gemini is the fact that playing both sides just to keep the option open. So here, let's say telling the Pisces one thing and then telling person B something different. See? So now nobody trusts you at this point. Because the thing about it, the whole mere fact of these inconsistencies, what can this lead up to? Betrayals. Betrayals without reason. Meaning you ain't got to do nothing to get betrayed. You ain't got to do much to get betrayed. Because, like I say, if a Gemini gonna do something, if they feel something, they're gonna just do it. Because, like I say, they're very, um, they could use the intelligence that they have as a weapon. So here, let's say let's say you're dealing with dark side Gemini, instead of solving the situation, they could be problematic. They could be simply just trying to win the argument instead. So here, it could be a situation where the dark side Gemini may feel the need to be always right. See? Now, what can this do? End up pushing away a genuine connection. It's always a sacrifice in regards to these different behaviors, no matter whether they're good or bad. Now, the emotional detachment is a situation where you start to treat the serious feelings like a debate. Everything is not a joke, Gemini, because when you do this, the partners may feel unseen. Now, if it came to it with the manipulation through the words, that's why once this is found out by the Pisces, they would no longer trust your words, especially if they receive manipulation. Instead, they will rather go and believe your actions. See, because what can happen is the Gemini can talk circles around people. And then literally people, they're still trying to catch up and figure out what was the Gemini, talking about. So why would this happen? Because at this point, they would be twisting the story as they start to talk circles around people. The problem, as a result, loss of credibility. Now, let's say they start to chase the excitement over stability. Because one thing about it, just like a, no, I ain't gonna say that as an example because, but I would say a person that gets very, very excited when it comes to, uh, you know, they can really choose that over stability. So here they can always be looking for the, next big thing. Um, It doesn't even have to be a big thing. It could be the next thing, meaning what's next, what's next, what's next. So the grass isn't always greener. We know that to be true. So that's why you have to appreciate what you have. But sometimes a Gemini simply would never see because they're constantly looking for the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Now, if we look at Gemini having an evil twin, okay? So what does this look like? One twin builds, the other twin destroys, bro. Okay. This is the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of analogy applied to this. So if you notice this, if you want to break it down even further, every Gemini has two voices. One seeks the truth, the other seeks control. See? So here, when you're dealing with the intelligence, and I'm gonna just say the dark side Gemini for instance, somebody that has intelligence, But when I said it gets used as a weapon, it could become manipulation as well. Could you imagine socially and it not being done emotionally? Bro, it hit different. So that's why I say, like, bro, that that evil twin, bro, it can lead to betrayals and betrayals in the worst way without reason. And I say this because, bro, I had a situation happen where a Gemini woman was trying to set me up, bro. And she was persistent. She was not like letting up, bro. Because the thing is that they don't care. They get to a point where they don't care. They really don't care, bro. They could be, and I'm gonna tell you, it's the shadow twin. It's the shadow twin. So the shadow twin can lead the Gemini to betray people without reason, but usually it's a reason that they haven't communicated, if that makes sense. So I say that to say that these type of betrayals come without warning. So remember, I'm speaking on the unhealthy Gemini, not the healthy one. So it could be the fact that they can mentally move on before anyone realizes there was a problem to begin with. See, so here everything can seem normal. The conversations are good. The wind is blowing in the right direction. No arguments. Then suddenly they're just distant, talking to someone else or simply just gone. See, now boom. What just happened? The switch flipped, bro. Like somebody turning on a light switch from on to off, right? So it can look like a betrayal because the Gemini may have been questioning the relationship internally for weeks or months without sharing those thoughts with someone. See, now, worst case scenario, the other person feels blindsided because they never got the chance to address the issue with the Gemini. See, and that could be the whole miscommunication in itself, why that happens. That's why a lot of people think, oh, it happened for no reason. See, at least that's probably more related to an assumption. But then oftentimes the issue is there was no communication whatsoever between the Gemini and the other person. So, like I say, another thing is these type of betrayals that could come from a Gemini are considered very dangerous. Why? Because you don't see them coming, bro. And the thing about it is, usually this type of decision is made in silence, bro. So imagine somebody saying, oh, they're going to do something to you. They ain't going to communicate that to you, bro. They just going to show up and show out and just do it. It's like you ain't got no heads up. You don't even know a betrayal is coming. And a lot of times people end up calling it a betrayal because there was no reason, see, for it. And that is the truth, because sometimes the reason was never communicated. So how was the person supposed to know that, hey, how was they supposed to know they were going to get betrayed? Cold blooded. It's what you can't see. So that's why I say that. Now, when you, yeah, when you look at that, and now I'm going to explain the Dr. Jekyll situation, because this is, now it's kind of funny because a lot of I don't know if y'all seen it in the chat. I don't know if y'all seen the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation, and how does it relate to Gemini? And that's only for me. I'm not like I'm only telling people this so they can understand Gemini better because some people just say the twins and that's it. Now, when you look at Dr. Jekyll represents one twin, okay, one of the twins. Now, remember I said control here is here, okay? One twin represent control. Now, to break it down even further, Dr. Jekyll, if you guys go watch the documentary of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. So here, Dr. Jekyll represents the respectable, controlled, social, accepted side. Mr. Hyde represents the hidden impulses desires and darker side that people don't see. Okay. So it doesn't mean that Geminis are secretly evil or anything like that. What I'm trying to get people to see is the comparison. Now, when you look at all of this, as you see the two opposing sides, the craziest thing is that they exist in one person, bro. So here, when you look at the interpretation of Gemini, when we say the Jekyll twin, we're looking at somebody, like I said before, charming, intelligent, funny, social, adaptable, and communicative, right? So here, everybody loves this version of Gemini. See, this is the one that everybody usually gets along with or may find interest in, being friends or in a relationship with them. In regards, because this is the one that you literally, this is the one you notice, right? So boom. Now here's the catch. The high twin is the manipulative one, deceptive, restless, cold, unpredictable, and self-serving. So here, this is the side nobody saw coming. So could you imagine, bro? Oh, look at that Gemini over there. Oh, she looks so good. She looks innocent. She looks fun-loving. Let me get to know her. Do, 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 do. You go over there, change numbers with her, and then all of a sudden, you discover that something like an earthquake, an unsettling something like a turtle's head being popped out, bumping against something, and you realize, you say, wait a minute, is she snapping out on me? And you say, well, damn, I thought she was this one way. Now you see something different because you didn't see it coming in the first place. So the problem is, it isn't that the Gemini has a good side and an evil side. No. See, it's that the Gemini can show two completely different versions of themselves depending on their mood, the situation, the people around them, or what they want at the moment. All in one person, cold blooded. See, so here it could be Monday, you could be their best friend. This on Monday though, see, but doesn't mean that you're gonna get the same type of vibe Friday. See, because Friday, the same Gemini could say, "Oh, I never said all that. I never said we were best friends." See, and then the other person says, "Oh, it's like talking to two different people." See, it's like talking to two different people. So here, that's why I said this is the correlation. This is the representation, no other than what? Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde comparison in which it comes from. See, so when you look at Pisces versus Gemini, you look at the angle. See, the angle that is in Gemini twins results, or just say it adds up to two minds, all working within one person. Jekyll and Hyde. See? Meaning two different natures. Now, when you look at Pisces fish, it's never about the fish. See, people look at the symbol of the two fish going in opposite directions and they think that, oh, Pisces represents just the two fish. No, that is considered the illusion. And you're you're being delusional thinking that, oh, Pisces represents the two fish, but what you don't see is the two directions. Pisces represents the two directions, not the two fish, cold-blooded. Because you don't, how it starts doesn't mean, that's not always how it ends because of the cycles in between, which get dissolved by the boundaries that you can't see. So from this angle, looking at Gemini, this is what you see. This is what you're introduced to. without even realizing. See, now, the conflict of Gemini is oftentimes related to which version of me should I be? And that is the question. When you look at Pisces conflict, it's oftentimes portrayed as which feeling should I follow? Going off to its representation, meaning two directions. The craziest thing is, are we talking up and down, left or right? All we're really giving is opposite directions. Why is that? Opposite directions means you do not know where I'm headed. You don't really know why I could be spiritual and know that it's going in that direction, or I could be down to earth and it going in that direction. See, but what if I was just trying to help you get to the spirituality mindset? That's a different direction. See, but what you thinking that you're seeing may not even be what you're seeing, because you might think that the Pisces was trying to connect with you for other reasons when the Pisces was simply trying to connect to heal you and to be a bridge in your life. See, now, see how deep that is? Now, the crazy thing is that Pisces can't do nothing else but keep it 100. And that ain't the direction you wanted to be in. See, that's why you won't stick to a Pisces if you feel that way. Now, when you look at Gemini, for those of you that still don't understand what I said, the Gemini twins is not about good and evil. Nope. It's about the public self, what you can see, the one that everybody falls in love with, and the hidden self, the one that you can't see. So when the betrayal comes, you don't even see it coming. So when you're dealing with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in this representation of two minds, you're dealing with the the one you can see, meaning the twins, the one you can see and the one you can't see. It's cold-blooded. Because when you are getting to know a Gemini, guess what? It feels so good and lighthearted, you don't even think another self, a hidden self, exists. That's why it catch you off guard every time. And it comes in clutch for the Gemini because you don't really know me. You don't really know me. You ain't even got to see the other self because it's hidden from you. It's cold-blooded. Now, everybody loves Dr. Jekyll. Dr. Jekyll was everybody's favorite. If you watch the documentary, you will see that. Dr. Jekyll was the favorite. It's almost like that staff member at the job. Everybody loves them. They bring cookies, donuts. They're always the one doing all the talking, preparation of, yeah, we're going to do this, implement that. Let's just start having pizza parties, when you know. And then all of a sudden, everybody loves Dr. Jekyll until Mr. Hyde shows up, bro. And it feels like that conversion, like, wait a minute. You realize Dr. Jekyll is missing. When Mr. Hyde shows up, it's almost like, wait a minute, we got a substitute and nobody told us? And you're in trouble if Mr. Hyde shows up instead and you don't even know it. That's why you get betrayed. That's why I'm trying to tell you, bro. You got to know this, bro. If you don't, you will be in situations and you'll be a victim and you will feel betrayed. Oh man, I was with this Gemini and they just cold turkey just flipped the switch on me, bro. It's cold blooded, bro. And see, I'm gonna tell you, why do people Why people don't see Mr. Hyde, bro? Why people don't see Mr. Hyde? Isn't he supposed to be a nice guy, right? I'll tell you why. It's why when he show up, everybody's like, oh my God, right? I'm gonna tell you why. Because Jekyll. It's all because of Jekyll's ass, bro. Jekyll, bro. The one everybody loves and seldomly hates, right? So here, what is Jekyll doing to make Hyde when he shows up so bad? Because Dr. Jekyll, he uses charm. He uses charm, bro. Do your studies and research on the word charm in different scenarios, right? Humor, humor, intelligence, kindness, confidence, social skills. So here, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. So when you thinking you meeting the most friendliest person everybody loves, Dr. Jekyll, you're really meeting the representative. It's cold-blooded because Mr. Hyde is the real them. The one that betrays you is the real them, bro. That's why I be saying, bro, you you got to, bro, you got to start looking at things in a different light, bro. Okay, moving on. Mr. Hyde, the reason why it's the real them is because this side, this twin stays hidden. See? So it's their shadow side. But this is the problem. It doesn't appear until someone feels rejected, meaning the Gemini. Someone feels threatened. Someone wants control. Someone gets bored. Someone thinks they won't get caught. Someone stops benefiting from the relationship. So what does this show? If you're not fake, then what are you? If you're not fake, then what are you? You're operating out of the facade because the mask slipped and revealed the true you. So now do y'all get it? The real you was evil to begin with. If that ain't evil, then what is? Meaning the real them is evil by nature, Brody. And you looking at, oh, the one that everybody fell in love with was not the real them. Because a lot of times, the Gemini could be worse than what you think them to be. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. This ain't my personal opinion, no. This is experience. It's the truth. Now, why do you think nobody saw it coming? Well, when people hold up a facade, do you see it coming always? No. See? Because people judge character by what? Words. But what if a person doesn't use words? Because you're going off the norm. You're going off of integrity, credibility, reputation. That don't apply when you're dealing with Gemini. And see, by you thinking that is words, personality, and first impressions, you got another thing coming. See, so here, instead of what? Patterns, consistency, actions under pressure. See, so anybody can look like Dr. Jekyll when life is easy. Mr. Hyde shows up when there's something to lose. The reason why Gemini goes 85% of the way and switches up just like that. Oh, because they're not benefiting from the relationship. requires them to show their real hand, bro, meaning their real self. But what you thought was real, or whatever you may think real defines as, is not the same with Gemini, bro. See, now here's another thing. It's a lesson because every zodiac sign brings a lesson, bro, to each his own. The lesson behind this is that the, the whole story documentary of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, bro, is not about two people. Now let me break this down, bro. See, Gemini knows that you're gonna think this way. This is why they so good at it, bro. You thinking it's two different people. No. See, the thing about it is, it's about the side of ourselves that we show the world versus the side we hide. You're dealing with the illusion in the facade. If it ain't no other way to put it, then what is? The illusion in the facade. So here, you got to know which one you're getting. Because guess what? With Gemini, it's just one person giving you both at the same time. And that's what throws people off because, damn, Jekyll was the coolest motherfucker that I met. Jekyll was my homie. Jekyll was the friendly one. If it's a female, oh, she was the one bringing the cookies and the donuts. Made sure everybody was good until it wasn't good. Until it wasn't good enough. Mr. Hyde shows up. Who is Mr. Hyde? The same person. You just didn't know the person was that evil, that slick. Just to show that side everybody fall in love with. And then once that Mr. Hyde show up, you feel like you feel like it was two different people. You feel like it was two different people the whole time. The whole time it was only one person. That was the truth. It was one person the whole time, bro, doing all of that. So when people say, "Oh man, dang, they real one moment, then it's like they not following through." What changed? It's all the same person, bro. Don't confuse yourself. Don't overthink it, bro. It ain't that deep. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. Like, bro, this is the crazy thing. It's powerful. I will admit, it's powerful that a person could do that so well, so smooth, so easy. Yes. But what's even better is recognizing it, understanding it, seeing that what's happening when it's happening, not being in the dark. You can't be betrayed if you see if you are aware, if you see what is going on. Now here's the thing. Under what circumstances bring the Mr. Hyde out? What? Under what circumstances? And see, I'm gonna tell you, when the Gemini loses control, that's the one. That's one of them. It's like, bro, when you when you look at the triggers, okay, because once the character of that person is tested, see, not because they're suddenly becoming someone else, no, but because the restraints come off. They can't hold themselves back any longer. See, so we look at Mr. Hyde showing up, we know that something about that person was triggered because the power, see, the power when someone gains authority, influence, money, or leverage over others. Mr. Hyde shows up with his lab coat. Ready, ready to be the boss. See, ready to, put his foot in somebody's ass, right? So here, temptation. When an opportunity appears, the benefits them at someone else's expense, we call this manipulation. Mr. Hyde shows up. See, rejection. Mr. Hyde shows up. See, when the pride is wounded, when the ego is bruised, when the resentment takes over, Mr. Hyde shows up. Fear. When they think they're about to lose something important, Mr. Hyde shows up. Anger. See, when the emotions override the self control within the Gemini, Mr. Hyde shows up. See, when it comes to when they believe won't be no consequence, when they feel like they can get away with it, Mr. Hyde shows up. See, boredom or dissatisfaction, when they start chasing excitement without considering who gets hurt, Mr. Hyde shows up. See, stress and pressure are the triggers to getting the true, real version of a Gemini. Stress and pressure. So, stress and pressure, that kind of sound like it could be a Pisces to do this job, right? To get to the bottom of this. Who will what? Who will give this? Now, I'll go into that in just a moment. But when you maintain the good image, what makes it difficult for the mask? See? What makes it difficult for the mask? Because it cannot hold that good image or maintain it for very long under stress and pressure. So that a lot, what does that result in? It becomes difficult, uncomfortable. The mask slips and reveals who you really are. See, who you really are. So now we know if it was Mr. Hyde and now the mask slips from Mr. Hyde's face and it shows, oh, this is who you really are. It makes sense. So you was never nothing of Dr. Jekyll. It was all charm, cold blooded. Wait a minute. So that's the same charm that you and Libra have in common. That's why they say Libra is the most intelligent air sign. It's cold blooded. Because they see a balance with Gemini. Why? Because with Libra, it's about peace and harmony, right? So what peace and harmony you getting with Gemini if you met with the representative through Dr. Jekyll? And then when triggered through stress and pressure, you get the real version, which is what? Mr. Hyde. See, because now it's the stimulation that Libra feels. And now when they look at it, it balances their scales because now, okay, now you're being decisive because you know when to show up and when to show out. So you know exactly what to do with this in and out situation that it becomes this, cold bloodedness that people start to realize, damn, who is ready for this? Who's ready for this? Because of the diplomatic type of approach to things with Libra, they couldn't have it. They couldn't have it no other way. No other way. Now, I'm going to break that down for y'all. The Now, when you look at, so I said stress and pressure. Okay, so when they do this, why you think so many people are so surprised, bro? See, because they only knew the person under the normal circumstances. So that's why you don't really know someone until you see them handle power, temptation, failure, and loss. Because then the real them shows up every time. Don't gotta be Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde is only used as an example. See, but remember I said anybody that experiences stress and pressure could be considered a Mr. Hyde. See, because Mr. Hyde is defined by his name, Mr. Hyde, which means he's hidden. He or she is hidden within that one person. But that's why I tell people the facade is not as strong as the illusion, bro. Now, another thing is that Mr. Hyde doesn't appear when life is comfortable. See, he only appears when his character is tested, bro. When his character is tested. Now, another thing I want to say is, okay, so when you start to look at this, you look at Dr. Jekyll, okay? One part wants to be respected, accepted, and seen as good. See, but the other part wants what it wants. See, sometimes regardless of the consequences. Now we know this to be true because look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump wanted to be respected, accepted, and seen as good, right? Until he was until he lost the election. What did he do? Steal it. And then at the same time, still want to be looked at as good after you stole the election, bro. So I'm trying to tell you guys is that you can't get that same recognition. When you've already ruined the whole your integrity and all that. You see, it's all shot at this point, as in regards to me, okay? But you guys may feel different. Now, that's why I said that regardless of the consequences, that Gemini is capable of doing the unthinkable because of the Mr. Hyde. See, because when they feel tested, their character gets tested. Who's showing up? Mr. Hyde, the real them. Now, when you look at the two sides, the two mindsets, the two twins, they are in agreement as long as everything looks fine. See, but when they're in conflict, when I said stress and pressure arrives, that can reveal which side is stronger. See, that's why Mr. Hyde shows up because that's the stronger side of Gemini, if that makes sense. So a person may value honesty until lying protects their reputation, meaning the Gemini would lie if that's what it's going to take for them to protect their reputation. It's cold-blooded. A person may value loyalty until a more attractive opportunity appears. A person may value kindness until they're angry enough to want revenge. See how they can't just go one way all the way through until a stipulation, a circumstance arrives? I'm gonna be kind until I'm angry enough to want revenge. So you're not kind. You want revenge. The stronger side of you makes the final decision. That's why the stronger side of Gemini oftentimes is more prone to betrayal. Meaning you can't even be loyal to yourself and just choosing one decision and following through until, I'm angry enough. See, until a more attractive opportunity arrives, until lying protects my reputation. See, so that's why we say Gemini is prone to inconsistencies. Now, when you look at character, is oftentimes the result of choices under pressure. People make different choices when they're stressed and when they feel pressure. See? So we can't even go by beliefs alone because, like I said, they begin to change during calm times. People make different decisions when they're calm versus pressure or stress. Now, that's why when it comes to adversity, it can have the type of reputation of revealing people, the true them. See, is when they're met with some type of hardship, when their character is being tested. See, now we start to look at it in a different way, like as if it's related to a hardship that one's faced with. So that's why when the hardship that they're met with, it ends up removing the excuses that and it exposes their priorities and forces decisions immediately. So that's why I said Dr. Jekyll is who we aspire to be. See? Yeah, everybody wants to be good, but doesn't mean they are. So here, Mr. Hyde is what emerges when our desires are no longer restrained by uh, conscious a consciousness of consequences or self-control. So it's almost like when you start to look at that alone, it starts to change things and how you respond and what you decide with. So that's why I said that the real struggle, it isn't between two different people, it's between two competing forces within the same person. So, hey, as you guys know, it's real recognized real. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Thanks for